Well, this is a journey. Daughters of Fire is a journey into the deeper beauty and hidden turmoil of Hawaii. On the surface, it's a page-turning adventure with romance, intrigue, myth, and murder. Um, Lots of suspense, um, both romantic suspense and some action suspense. But it is also a serious book about Hawaii. There are multiple layers, and what I tried to render was what has happened here since statehood. You know, if James Michener kind of opened up the whole story of the history of Hawaii from the arrival of Polynesians and all the stuff that happened up to statehood, um, I felt it was important, especially for a mainland or U.S. continental audience, to pick up that story. And so all the backstories, all the characters, everything reflects the period after statehood. It all takes place now. It's a contemporary story, but it deals with both the impact of the extraordinary development which was unleashed after statehood, the real estate development, the tourist development, and the responding cultural renaissance movement. And so when you'll see all the characters that reflect the kind of turmoil that people who live here know is there, that visitors sometimes pick up but don't understand. And I really wrote it so that I wrote it for an American audience, so that people would have a better understanding of this place that I really love. And the characters are all composite characters, but the key characters that reflect the kind of conflicts and tensions that my friends, my local friends, and Hawaiian friends particularly, experience and have talked about. What's unique about the story is that it's written for an American audience or people not from the islands. But I knew all along, from having lived here for 25 years, that it needed to meet a local standard. So I had, by the time it was published, not only was there 10 years of work in it, but by the time it was published, I had 20 reviewers, including 5 Native Hawaiians, and among that group, including cultural practitioners. So, and I had a variety of locals, checking on my pidgin. I mean, I had to modify the pidgin a little for that American audience so they wouldn't get lost. Had to use less Hawaiian words than I wanted to do, but I wanted the essence of the feeling, and so that it would be accessible, because I felt that people from the culture that is impacting Hawaii need to understand better what's really going on here and what were the implications, both bad and good, from that in that post-statehood period, and what is all the talk of sovereignty, and what is all the talk of cultural practitioners. And I tried to put that in a context, but tell it with a story instead of the kind of stuff I used to do for the University of Minnesota, where you wrote a policy paper, or the kind of commentaries I've written for the various Honolulu daily papers, the Advertiser, the Bulletin, the New Star Advertiser, and so on. I wanted, and I think one of the things that surprises me a little bit, having written a lot of nonfiction, but this is my first novel, is the power of a story. I don't know why I should be surprised, but I've done enough readings now in various kinds of settings with all kinds of people coming. And when you tell a story, people relate to it with their na'au, their intuition, their gut feeling, with their heart, and it isn't all funneled through their head. And so much of what we talk about in society is just a reflection of a kind of sterile thinking. And I've been really touched with the response I've gotten from the novel from people of all ethnicities, particularly Hawaiians, who feel like those are authentic local characters. And similarly, from really fairly inexperienced, recently arrived from America and kind of haoles, who say, there's some things here I've learned that I'm going to pay more attention to now. And not any kind of negative reactions from those people, because it's a powerful story that creates empathy for all the characters. And even the characters you don't like so much, I'm in the old tradition of the writing. They're complex. It's not like you're going to have to read the whole thing to know, there aren't exactly all good guys and bad guys. It's the way it really is. People in conflict, people with dilemmas, people who make mistakes, and people who can be noble. And so it's kind of more in the kind of Dickens kind of tradition, with a variety of there are like 4 plot lines that all come together in the second half of the book, and the characters are all complex, and you're gonna feel that tension within yourself, and that's the biggest surprise. When you ask me what's the biggest surprise, I'm like, well, it's the power of fiction. It's the power of a story that hopefully is well told enough that people will take it into their heart and into their gut.